what is your job title? And then explain what that means and, why you were hired or what you were hired to do at Redlands Unified School District.
Well, first of all, I'm very happy about being here and being able to share what we're doing here in Redlands and what I'm doing. My name is Juanita Watkins. I'm the coordinator of diversity and equity here at Redlands Unified School District. And so what does that mean, right? Because that is just a whole bunch of words put together. So differences, right? Diversity means differences. So just all of us we're a collection of differences here in our district. But equity means giving students, staff members, family members exactly what they need when they need it, delivered in the manner that they need it with urgency. So if you take those two things, that's what my title is. Now you're probably still like, what does that even mean still, right? So that means that I'm looking at our systems. And what I mean by systems, by the way that we do things, our curriculum, our libraries, our policy, even our sports and clubs, to making sure that everyone has access to these clubs. So it's an array of things that I'm doing. I'm working with student groups. I'm working with family groups. I'm working with the board. I'm working with staff members. I'm working with the superintendent and his cabinet to make sure that everything is equitable for everybody everywhere, every way around, in every which way. So because my position is so large, I'm able to access every department in our school district, from the cafeteria to the custodians, to the teaching staff, to the classified staff members, and even our students.
All right. Thank you. The next question we have for you are, what are some of the goals that you have for this district or in your position?
So I'm glad that you asked that. So with this position, when I first got this position came about in December of 2021. It came after I was a part of a collaboration with the school board. We did a board resolution that declared racism, particularly, a public health crisis in our district. And when you think about that, it's like, wow, wait, what did you just say? Yep, that's right. It was myself, it was board members, and also students and peers from your group, right? They also had their voice in writing this. After that came the implementation phase, because not only am I an employee here in our district, and at the time I was a counselor, but I'm also a parent. So I brought both hats to the table in helping to draft that. So the position for the diversity and equity coordinator flew. And shortly after that, and after I got the position, we met, the superintendent and I, we met and we talked about some just objectives that we wanted to focus on. So I'll share a little bit about those with you, and I hope that you have time because it's a pretty lengthy list. So here they are. So the first one, I kind of talked to you guys about the curriculum, right? So what we're doing is we're looking K through 12, and we're working with your teachers, those who are very passionate in curriculum, right? And you're probably thinking like, shouldn't they all be passionate? Yes, they should, right? But we don't know what we don't know. And so we're looking to make sure there's windows and mirrors, right? We want you all to be able to see a reflection of yourself, but also we want to be able to give you a window, right? Where you can see things outside of your norm. So we're looking also for barriers to education, right? What is our curriculum teaching our students? And that goes hand in hand with our library and literature audit. Over the summer, I got the opportunity to walk through our HS library, which was really exciting, and met with your phenomenal librarian, Brandy Major. And we talked about, what does it look like when the students walk in here? Do they see themselves on the wall and in the literature in the book? And let me tell you, you have an awesome librarian. She has done some great things over there. And I know a lot of high schoolers don't go to the library, but let me tell you, you want to go to your library because she has done an awesome job. So that goes hand in hand with the literature, making sure that you have books, right, that look like you. Again, remember those windows and mirrors, not just in the library, but in your classrooms as well. Policy and procedure audit. And all of these things also are available to you on the district website. So if you ever wanted more information or to see them in black and white, it's there as well. So that policy and procedure audit is, I've been looking at the way that we do things, as we know that we have some strong traditions here in Redlands, but not all the time are those traditions suitable for students. Sometimes they're barriers. So I'm working with staff members and working with our district and looking and saying, if this is a barrier to even one of our students, then it's too much. We need to fix that, right? And so even board policy, looking at that, right? Like hate motivated behaviors, what are we doing to hold people accountable for these things when they're saying such mean and rude and cruel things to one another? And that's just not just students, that's staff as well, right? And so just looking at equity-based practices in our policy, as well as I've been doing a review of recruitment and hiring strategies. We want our student population to resemble our staff population, right? So what that means that we have to hire staff that is diverse, that looks just like me, that looks just like you and everybody else in your school, right? And also making sure that we're gender inclusive in our environment with our staff. And so that's what we've been looking at, right? And doing some very targeted approaches to recruit staff members and to get other staff members trained, right? And making sure that they are aware of what's going on and what we have here in our population, because these things are not only affect you as students, they also affect us as staff. And so just making sure that we're inclusive across the board has been a goal as well. Establishing an African-American Parent Advisory Council. Now, what that is we are having a committee, right? We are 3 meetings in right now. We're going to be having a 4th meeting really, really soon. So if your parents don't know about it, please tell them. I always send out a reminder, but we're going to have one on each site. But right now it's at the district level with me. And the focus of that is on African-American student success. So the reason you may be asking, why are you doing this? Why are we doing this? Historically, when we look at data, African-American students, not all of them, but most of them, they tend to score lower on all academic indicators such as math and English and language arts. But then when you look at our disciplinary data, they're very, very high. So we want to work with the students, we want to work with the families, and we want to work together, right? We don't just want to make decisions. No, we need a recommending body and say, what can we do to help our African-American students? And as I told you, I come to this work as a parent of African-American children myself, right? And so I'm able to see the lens on both sides, but we need you and your parents to come be a part of this. Now you may be asking, do I have to be Black or African-American to join? No, you don't. In fact, you have some pretty amazing staff on your campus who have come just to want to learn more about it and to contribute to the success of African-American students. So our goal is to have one on each site at each campus next year. And we welcome you to be a part of that because your voice matters as well. The Equity Roundtable is something else that we're working on. So we're going to get parents and family members from every demographic represented on this committee. And we're going to talk about what are we doing right as a school district, but what are areas that we need to improve on? And they're going to work with me and they're going to work with the cabinet, and we're going to make some changes to make our campuses very culturally aware and accepting of a gamut of things, right? We also, again, I always go back to talking about gender inclusivity, right? And just making sure that our staff members and our students feel comfortable and valued on our campuses of our LGBTQ population, right? They're just as much welcome here and they belong here just as much as those of us who don't identify, right? And so that's what I'm also working on. Multicultural celebrations. And as you know, right now we're celebrating Black History Month. And although that's great, right? We want to celebrate it all year long, whether it's Asian Pacific Islander Month, whether it's Pride Month, right? Whether it's, Latino Heritage Month, we want to celebrate those things all year long. And how are we going to do that? With you, right? Bringing your culture to the campus, talking to your teachers and saying, can I have some time to share through about my culture? Because you know who's the experts in your culture? You are, your family members are. We're going to welcome your families onto the campus and help immerse this into our culture every single day. So that way it just doesn't become one huge celebration one time a year. We're only celebrating Cinco de Mayo one time a year. No, we celebrate life every single day. It's really the work of the heart and the love of that. The other thing is relevant training for staff. So I know what it is like to be a student. I used to be a student too. And let me tell you, I used to be a class clown. I spent a lot of days in the dean's office. Okay. And so we always think that the teachers don't know what's going on, right? I've been there. We have been your age, and so has your teachers, right? And so what we're doing is we're making sure that your teachers are informed, right? Because sometimes they just don't know. The staff members, they just don't know. You don't know what you don't know. So it's my job to make sure that I am bringing in relevant topics, right, on how to be culturally competent and how to be culturally aware and how to talk to your parents and family and students that don't look like you, right? And even uncovering our own implicit bias. Me, you, your teachers, we all have implicit bias, right? Some are explicit and some are implicit, right? That we just carry with us because of very different reasons, our demographics, our background, and all those great things. And so just bringing in more people, right? And just to talk about these conversations. And that's part of the equity roundtable as well, is just informing and educating each other. As well as lastly, and I say lastly, but my job is it's a big umbrella thing, but we are bringing in an awesome system that I cannot wait to share with you all. And you'll be hearing about it from your teachers. You'll be hearing about it from the ASB, from the Link crew. You'll be hearing about it from the Students for Change groups, your student leadership groups on campus, but it's called Sprigio. We're going to be developing a universal system for reporting bullying, racism, harassment, an array of things, right? And then also, if you ever get into a crisis, right, where you are just not feeling the best, you didn't wake up the best, and you're having some unsafe thoughts, you're going to be able to report that and connect with a live person 24 hours a day. So if you're not on campus and it's at night, it's on the weekend, or you're on break, you'll still be able to connect with us and have somebody respond for you. So we're really excited about that system. And so I'm telling you all of these things so that you know the conversations that I'm having in our school district with every single one of our staff and our family and parent groups, and now you all. And so I'm just really happy to support that work for you all. But the goal really is a sense of belonging, right? Each one of us belongs here. You belong here. I belong here. But just making a space and creating a space to really prove that each of us belong here has been my goal.
That was a lot.
It's a lot.
That was really informative, though. That is a lot that you do for us at RHS and then RUSD. So thank you. Our next question is, what can we do as teachers and students to get people involved?
Absolutely. Well, one thing that you can do is making sure that you're making people feel included in your everyday language. That includes inviting people to sit at your table, to be a part of the discussions, right? And just inviting them even for lunch, or even just saying a kind word, because equity is kindness, right? And we don't think about it that way, right? Everybody that you deal with is dealing with something. So if I can think of something right off the top of my head, that's what it would be. It's just to be kind, right? But also asking, what can I get involved in? Because as I rattled off the list of things that I'm working on, I'm also looking for people to volunteer to be a part of this work. So if I said something that it is your jam, I want to be a part of it, don't hesitate to reach out to me, because I'm welcoming people, including student voice, to the table, because we want to make these decisions together. I don't want to make these decisions for you. I want to make these decisions with you. And so that's what you can do. Be kind to one another. And even when you don't know what to say, but just letting somebody know that you're there is oftentimes enough.
Thank you.